Hello, this is Granted Jerry, and it's after 8 o'clock at night, but I just put a duck in the oven, and I'm here in the kitchen dining room area, and I just decided to do a take two on this presentation that I had for you. And first of all, I want to say I don't wish to bring sympathy, or I don't want to gain sympathy, and I'm trying to say things the right way in order to not gain sympathy. But I'm just doing this because I would like to talk better and speak better, and I'd like to explain it to somebody that would listen and give me feedback or whatever. I don't want any harsh feedback because I'm gonna be 61 years old, so I don't need harsh feedback. But anyway, we all have something tough in our lives that is what gives us motivation that we need in life, and we are here to overcome in our own various ways. And it's difficult to know someone in an instant, and it takes many years sometimes, especially as you get older. It's hard because they've lived a full life, and I've felt like I've lived 3 lives or 4 lives. I'm on my 4th life now. But one has to start somewhere, and so that is what I aim to do. So I'm starting off with my stroke, yet this is not the majority of my difficulties. So if you want to learn more of me and my experiences, you'll have to stick around. Now, when I got to the hospital for a stroke, it's kind of a blur. I had ridden in the ambulance for an hour and a half, and then it took an hour or so for them, or I don't know how long it took them here to get me ready, and then how they got to get me out, get me checked in, and all that stuff. So they were taking me to the closest stroke unit, and I was in ICU at first after the thrombectomy. Luckily, my youngest son heard from my second son and came to the hospital. He tells me it's a good thing that he came to the hospital because they were about to give up on me, and they were about to give up on the idea of removing the clot or something. And the doctor told him I was out there and I wasn't going to make it, or I wouldn't recover very much because that was deep in my brain. But my son had talked to him, and I guess he gave him enough cause to think again, and he decided to do the thrombectomy. I don't really know. But I recall hearing the doctor and the nurses talking during the procedure. It was a weird thing. I don't recall what they were saying. I was under sedation, And then it was ICU for a while, and then to my own regular room. I assume I had a catheter for my bladder and IV fluids, but upon arrival to my new room, these were removed, of course. And I was coming to, but I had troubles. In my mind, though, I had to take care of myself because the staff were too busy, and I'm not waiting to go to the bathroom, etc. So my left leg is 2 inches shorter than my right leg from multiple surgeries in the past. And I had my car accident in April of 2006. And that's when the problems with my legs started. And so I didn't have my shoes with me that have, on the left side, has 2-inch lift on it. And so I had to walk that way. And I can be on my feet or my legs that way for like a shower and stuff, but a long time, it's not good for me, my back and stuff, But Anyway, I think there was an alarm on my bed, but I got to the bathroom hanging onto things, or I asked for a bedside commode to be placed by my bed. Then there was the deal with that I couldn't swallow without choking. So I had to have thickened liquids while in the hospital. Yuck. But okay. And my food was prepared soft puree, I think. The dietitian or the nutrition person came into the room and they gave me several tests and they evaluated it and said what thickness I had to have and everything like that. But the most distressing thing to me was the cataracts I had before advanced from the stroke quickly. My left, I think it was the left one, my left cataract was completely white and it was covered over my eye. So I couldn't see. I was blind in that eye, and this eye was just, I mean, without my, I guess I could see some out of that eye, but it had gotten a little bit worse, but it wasn't it wasn't bad enough that I had to, because I only had one cataract. Eventually, when I had cataract surgery, I had one done, and then I had the other one done a year later, so it wasn't that bad. But the one eye was blind. And so it was difficult that way. I have waited so long to be able to voice the things that I wanted to voice about this event, the whole event. But I couldn't speak first. And so anyway, I'm trying to speak now. I'm trying to give my story, and I would eventually like to write it down, but I don't know if I can do it. I'll explain that in a minute, but anyway, as I'm telling my stories, I might remember something, and then I'll fill in the blanks as I go. But I also, because I have trouble writing, my penmanship was awful. I mean, it was just awful. Illegible scribbling, tiny markings, and to try to write was very straining on my brain. Very straining. I cannot stress this enough. And it was like when I tried to walk for the first time after my car accident, and it had made me perspire. And when I walked just a few steps, it felt like I had run a mile dash because I was that wore out. That's how it felt in my mind, in my brain, when I wrote. And the letters were messed up and coming out wrong too. So, but actually when I had I had different therapists come to my home, and the one that has to do with my speech, at least by the time that they got here, which I'll explain, they were late getting here, so I was here by myself a long time. But anyway, that's another story. But I couldn't do the computer. It was just too stressful for business matters. I couldn't pay my bills on the computer or anything. I had to start going to the phone and calling them, and it was just too much. I just couldn't. I couldn't plug in the passwords, and it was all. I mean, I think I could type a little bit, but I don't remember. But I just gave up everything, Facebook and all that stuff, because it just was too cluttering, and I had to downsize what I was doing, and I had to start being more simple with what I did. And before this, I was always trying to do so much, and I got enough in my life, but I had to slow down for a while. And my penmanship was, at the time of writing this story for today, my penmanship was really poor is getting poor in my writing here, and so I was just really wore out. And so this would be all that I'm going to tell you, because my story was just that short, because I could feel the tension in my brain. And it wasn't that it stressed me out, it's just if I continued it would stress me out. So I do things in small increments. And but anyway, that is the end of my story, the end, but it's not the end. And I thank you for listening, and I hope that you like that, and that you could do something today to make you healthy. And we'll see you next time, okay? Thank you.